joint meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety. Roll call. Here. Here. Are there any conflict of interest statements? No. Did anybody get a chance to look at the September 10th minutes?
I'd like to recommend we defer action.
And I'll concur. We have the plat for Tribal Logic addition. We can just sign it after the meeting, but this is their subdivision plat for the changes where Tribal Logic bought the old library building. So we need a motion
I recommend that we approve that.
and I'll concur. We have an agreement with Clark Dietz for the Second District street lighting project. It's elm, hickory, catalpa, and chestnut. And Clark Dietz is going to be doing the engineering on it. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agreement.
Recommend it.
Oh, yeah, you got to
I'd like to recommend that we approve this.
and I'll concur. We have a contract with Hawk Enterprises for the Third District street lighting on Monroe Avenue in the amount of $190,346.40,
We recommend that we approve this also.
and I'll concur. We have a change order on street lighting project in the Second District. Change order is an increase of $1,170, and it's for 3-phase meter boxes. And I'm not an electrician, so I'm not sure what those are, but the engineer recommends them, and they're like $390 each.
I'd like to recommend that we approve this.
And I'll concur. We have a bid award letter from First Group Engineering on the Madison Avenue lighting in the 4th District from 174th to 171st. They've reviewed all the bids, and the lowest and best complete bid, because there was one bid that wasn't complete, was from Hawk Enterprises in the amount of $125,969.
I'd like to recommend that we approve this for Hawk.
And I'll concur. Correspondence from the Hammond Department of Environmental Management requesting approval for a proposed license agreement for property located at Roosevelt and White Oak. This is Atlantic Richfield Company, and it looks like they're going to be doing some groundwater monitoring. So you want to recommend and
Recommend that we're just approving that they're doing it. Yeah, I'd like to recommend that we approve that.
and I'll concur. Next, we have correspondence from Chief Doty requesting the transfer of Sergeant M. Ferry from Narcotics Division to CID Unit effective October 5th, and Department General Order 15-4, 1505, and 15-6 submitted for approval.
I'd like to recommend that we approve all of Chief Doty's.
And I'll concur. We move on now to the demolition hearings.
Mr. President, I do have some citizens here from the neighborhood on two of the properties, and I would just ask if we can please take those out of order, and then we can just do the rest in order. 4246 Wabash and 4248 Wabash. I think that we have the Strezzos here.
Is the property owner here too?
Yes.
Okay. So, recommend that we take that out of order.
I'd like to recommend that we take Wabash Avenue's addresses first.
And I'll concur.
Good morning.
Morning.
My
Please
name
state your name.
is Linda Strezzo. I live at 4242 right next to these properties.
Okay.
They have been problems since '06. I'll give you a little history on it, but to begin with, a neighbor brought to my attention that in 4248 Wabash, he saw a raccoon and squirrel going into the property. There's holes in the roofs of that property. They have a garage that sits 3 inches from my property line, and it has holes in it also. We're longtime neighbors. There's 2 homes on this one lot. They were built in 1915 and 1924. The original owner passed away in '02. We've lived there 40 years. My mother lives across the street. She's 86. She's been looking at these properties in the disarray that they are. The last improvements that have been done to these properties were in 1992, and that was new doors. And then they sat vacant for 3 years after the owner passed away.
Are they currently vacant?
They are currently vacant.
Do you know who the owner is? Chris, do we have information on the owners?
They are now owned by Sammy Investments, SAMI Investments.
Out of
Right here
Michigan.
from Sammy Investments? The owner's here, Chris.
Okay, well, this, I would.
Yeah, that's fine.
The house at 4246, because of the year it was built, sits exactly 14 inches from my property. The roof on that home has at least 3 layers, which is against code. With every wind, those shingles fly onto my driveway, which is adjacent to this property. It's currently boarded up. The front picture window and the dining room picture window are boarded up. Windows are broken. It was sold in 2005, and immediately we had problems with the new owners. Former Chief Miller had to send them letters not to block my driveway, which is adjacent to it, not to pull into my driveway. They had in the 4246, there was a beauty shop in the basement that they were ordered removed, and they did remove it. Out of 4248, they started running a tarot card business out of the basement. They had no permits for plumbing and electrical that they did on the update of that. I don't know if that's been removed. The city's had a 9-year legal battle with these properties. In 2008, it was ordered demolished by the city and then rescinded. The order was rescinded by Judge Harkin. The Board of Public Works in 2011 agreed with the old owner's attorney that 4248, the upstairs illegal apartment, would not be occupied. And the board did not recommend, this Board of Public Works, maybe not all of you were on it, did not order that upstairs illegal apartment removed. Now, to think that no one would use that, less than a year later, lights were up there, box fans in the windows. Ever hear of extension cords? Safety for the neighborhood. It's vital that in the future, this board remove all illegal apartments, whether they're upstairs, whether they're in the basements. You cannot assume that people will abide by these little agreements. They do not. Not only has there been no improvements on these properties since '92, not the owner for the past 9 years that lost the property, and not the current owner, who I understand lives in Michigan. I had to call the city to have it cut and to clean up the food and debris that was left not only in the yard, in the alleyway. And the city had to pay to board up the broken windows. Last Friday on Mayor McDermott's radio show on WJOB, he stated he does not want more than 2 homes on a block vacant. He wants them demolished. My block has 3. I ask that you please do the right thing. Bring the quality of life, the safety back to our neighborhood in order to demolish 4246 and 4248. I have a list of some of the original neighbors. We have a lot of rentals. There's no doubt in my mind. Maybe one will be occupied, but we're all very aware if they put family in another home, city does not have to go in there and check that for code. They can consider it a hardship, and it's family living in there. That is a safety to the neighbors. 4248 sits right on the alleyway. Right across the alley is a garage and another home sitting on the alley. That's about all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Houston Peterson. I represent Sammy Investments.
You're what, like the manager, or?
Yes,
How long have you guys owned the property?
since April 13th, 2015.
Go ahead.
So I don't know all about what she went on. It sounds like she's got some valid points. We took the property in deed of lieu of a foreclosure. So we became the recorded owner in 2013. I immediately made arrangements to,
Wait, 2013?
I'm sorry, 2015. April 13th, 2015 was the recording date of the deed in lieu. I immediately made arrangements to sell the property, met with a realtor over there. The occupant, Alicia Zacaras, was still in the home. She agreed to move out, leave it broom swept, and it is. As a matter of fact, the housing inspector that met us over there, he was very surprised at the condition of the home, meaning it was much better than he thought it would be. At the time she moved out, she turned over the keys. The realtor put a lockbox on it. A week later, he called me and said somebody had thrown a brick through the window. We made contact with another gentleman to go board up the windows and mow the grass. I think the city beat us to it. I made arrangements with the city.
Oh, before you go any farther, Chris, how long does it take to get the grass cut? Kelly?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. So you guys went, first of all, you guys went at least 6 weeks without even cutting the grass. So that's a problem. Because it's not just we don't make a phone call and somebody goes over and
Sure.
cuts it. It's a process that has to go through Judge Harkin's court. Am I correct? So that's the 6 weeks thing that we're already working on. So,
And I've got an invoice from the guy that was,
well, that's fine. But what I'm saying is it was 6 weeks plus that you guys didn't cut the grass.
okay, I'll take culpability for that one. I drove here, the people I talked to downstairs said, here's the process, you come in, you pay a fee. It was a total of $730 for 3 properties, 2 are on Wabash. And then you schedule an appointment with a gentleman named Mr. Cook. He'll go through an inspection report, tell you what you got to do, hire a licensed contractor to set it up. I did all that. I made 3 different, that was July 22nd. I made 3 different calls to Mr. Cook, no return call. I called his supervisor. After that call, the second call to the supervisor, I got a call or a letter from the attorney. And then I finally got a call from Mr. Cook, scheduled an appointment. I drove out here, I believe, on the 2nd. Mr. Cook didn't show up. Another gentleman showed up. He took the photos. He was the guy that was surprised that the property was not in as bad a condition as they thought it would be. We made a listing agreement dating back to when Alicia had vacated the property. It's been for sale. I've lowered the price. I'm just interested in selling the property. I think it's a valuable asset. Obviously, with it on the demo list, it's going to be limited to somebody who's going to own or occupy it that can fix it up. I don't think an investor is going to come in and be vertical and hire a licensed contractor unless they're vertical and they can do it all and fix it up and turn it over. The property has it listed for an assessed value of $74,800 with a estimated cost to cure of $25,000. The other one behind it, they have an estimated $59,600 with an estimated cost to cure of $45,000.
So is this 2 lots or 1 lot or 2 buildings?
It is 2 lots.
It's a very big lot with 2 houses on it, if you were to look at it from the outside of the.
I just didn't know if it was front and back.
Right. Now, you've owned this since April. What maintenance have you done on the property since April?
We haven't done any maintenance on the property since April.
Okay,
We've
so-
listed it for sale.
So all the garbage there, that's okay? It just stays like that? All that garbage, that's just, that's
No, I
fine?
wouldn't say that's okay.
Well,
Heavens
that's
no.
June, and that's July.
So you guys bought the property in April intending to do what?
We didn't buy the property. We bought the company that I work for bought a large mortgage pool, a defaulted loan pool. And so as we worked through that defaulted loan pool, we entered into a loan modification with the tenant, with the owner, Alicia Zacaras. She defaulted on that. Part of that agreement was there'd be a deed in lieu recorded.
Okay.
Is that what the property looks like? On the other property, on 42, 46, is that what it looks like? Do you agree?
This is the front property.
Correct.
Yeah.
42, 46, it's all boarded up, the roof is
Correct,
bad,
that's the front, yep.
shed and falling down in the back, and you've done no repairs since you've owned it? And
Correct.
Nothing, no maintenance on the property, no cleaning up, just leaving the garbage everywhere?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. President, here's the problem. This may never sell, and this will sit like this until it either collapses upon itself, gets set on fire by some kid who's got nothing better to do at this time, or, the raccoons take it over. And based on the owner's mission, if this is the condition of the property, he's let it pile up with garbage, he does not...
I didn't let it pile up with garbage.
Well, you haven't stopped it from piling up with garbage, so
Haven't
that's...
cleaned it up since April. I mean,
Can we see the pictures?
Sure.
bought it 5 months ago.
It is cleaned up. It doesn't look like that now.
Do you have any pictures to show that?
Your city inspector took pictures, and a lot of them on September 2nd.
Mr. President, based on the condition of the property and the owner's admitted failure to maintain it, and it may never sell, it may sit like that for 6 years. I would ask the board to enter an order to demolish.
I find it intriguing that the board, that this young lady's saying that it'll never sell, but yet the city inspection that was conducted on the property less than a month ago says that the value of the one property is $60,000 with an estimated cost to cure of 40, and the other one's estimated value of $75,000 with an estimated cost to cure of 25. I would think that the value of the property less the cost to cure would be a negative figure, and it's not. And the realtor doesn't feel that way, nor did the inspector, nor did the electrical inspector who visited the property.
And as the board well knows, the standard under the Unsafe Building Act is not whether or not it has negative value, it's whether it's non-maintained, it's decrepit, it's in a state of disrepair and unfit for human habitation, which both of those properties in their current condition currently are.
Well, the garage, it looks like it's about to collapse.
Yeah, I would agree, the garage should probably get Caterpillar touch-up yellow.
Definitely needs a roof.
Yeah.
And the chimney looks like it might fall over, and with the distance from the adjacent properties that could damage somebody else's property, how do you expect to sell it without at least doing some exterior improvements to make it look halfway decent?
Somebody bought it.
I expected to sell it to somebody who's interested in doing that work and obtaining what we call forced equity or elbow grease.
Yeah, but to preserve any investment that you have, you should at least put a new roof on it. Why would you not do that? 'Cause
The
it's
roof is not
probably
leaking at this time.
Huh?
The roof is not leaking.
Are you sure?
Yes. There's no water
If you
intrusion.
go up in the attic, sometimes you have a leak and it's bad enough to do damage in the attic without coming down into the living area.
I understand. And we were up in the attic,
When you were up, when were you up in the attic?
September 2nd,
I wouldn't want
with
that
your
sitting
city
next
housing
to my
inspector.
house.
I'm sorry?
I wouldn't want that sitting next to my house.
And see, that's the problem, we have the residents here that are complaining about it, and it's just not, that
It
lady.
makes the whole neighborhood.
The whole
look bad.
neighborhood.
We just spent millions of dollars redoing that street.
I
We
understand.
got a beautiful parkway down the middle, we put ornamental lights in, and then we got an eyesore like that sitting on one side?
You understand, I understand your position, is all I'm asking for is a little time, and not a long
We had
time.
6 months,
What's that?
you pretty much lost all the decent weather that you could do work on the outside to at least make it presentable. No one's gonna buy that in that condition.
Well, the Public Works may not see this as an issue, but when I tried to get information on this demolition process, nobody could give us a straight answer. We got so many different answers, it was pathetic.
What kind of answer did you get?
That it's not on the demolition list.
Today it's on the demo list.
I understand, but in Grover it was the same way. There's another property over on Grover. They say it's not on the demolition list. Some were saying it's on the demolition list.
Jason, I spoke to you for 20 minutes to explain the entire process from soup to nuts. What information do you still need? This is not acceptable to the
It's not me. It's not me, it's the buyer. It's
Go
potential
invest in
buyers.
another city. We don't need your help. This is not
Do you have
acceptable.
a potential buyer right now?
Yes. And we had another property, Grover, we had a cash buyer willing to pay $21,000 for the property on Grover, which the same inspection we did the same day.
And our problem is if you sell it to somebody,
Yes.
there's no guarantee that they're gonna start working on it right away. Then that guy's gonna end up coming here in 6 months more, and they're gonna say, the guy's gonna say, well, I only had it for 6 months, I didn't have time.
No, with this being conveyed to the new buyer, they know that they have to be, and that's when I went through the electrical inspector, he said you got two sources of buyers. Your market buyers are limited to a rehab company that's vertical, that's licensed in all the trades, that can do it all, fix it up and then sell it to whoever, or your other market buyers are owner occupants. And he said that the city will work with an owner occupant. They don't necessarily need to get a licensed contractor. They'll work with the city, or the contractor, the electrical inspector, said they'll work with the homeowner if they buy it. The people on Grover were willing to pay $21,000 for property on Grover to fix it up and move in, but they couldn't figure out what had to be done, number one. Number two, they didn't have $10,000 more to put up as a
All
bond.
I gotta do is look at the picture, you could figure out what needs to be done.
No, I'm not talking about what to be done on the property, what needed to be done with the
Talking about a-
process.
You're talking about a different property that's not on this hearing for today that he's also not maintaining. We're here on Wabash Day. This is what it looks like. It's looked like this since he's owned it. He's had since April. He hasn't even picked up the paint cans laying in the yard. I would ask that the board, for the safety and sake of the neighbors who actually live there, enter an order to demolish these two pieces of property.
Is all I'm asking is to give me 30 days. Give me 30 days. We have an interested party, and if we can have 30 days, they can enter into What is on the back here, the inspector says that they recommend, I estimate the repair structure would cost approximately $15,000. This figure may increase significantly due to unforeseen conditions. I don't see that happening. The guy went through it with a fine-tooth comb with his camera. I recommend the structure be removed from the demolition list only if the following is accomplished. The property is,
Who's that from?
It's Kurt Cook's inspection report. It's the same inspection report we do on every one of these properties that involves a rehab agreement. If there's an individual who is going to physically appear and sign a rehab agreement, that's fine, but a prospective person who may exist in the ether is not going to repair these properties. This is the owner has no intention of making repairs. I say enter an order to demolish, and if some miracle person appears who wants to fix it before we knock it down, they can always come in
And
and,
it's not gonna get knocked down this week.
no, it takes 30 days to bid it out anyway.
The councilman wants to.
Councilman, yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Ortiz here.
I'm sorry.
Even if we, whatever decision we come up with, if we enter it, nothing's gonna happen for 30 days to put it out for bid. So you're gonna have 30 days to start doing something. Councilman, you got something to say?
Councilman for the first district here.
Let's give him, an opportunity to speak.
Mark?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, Stan already mentioned it, we spent millions of dollars rehabbing that street, and it's one of the better streets in the whole district. I do have 3 vacant properties on it. I'm not a proponent of just demolishing everything. However, this place has been a nuisance since '06. I've been going to the building department, citizens have. We had a demo order on it in the past. It's a 50-foot lot, and at times there were 3 units being rented. The street parking can't even support that in that area. If you push on the garage, it would probably fall down. I get reports of rodents all around that property. And when you look at Realtor.com, in July, 4246 was going for $60,000, 4248 was going for $45,000, both on the same 50-foot lot for $105,000. As of 9/16/15, 4246 was listed at $20,000, 4248 was listed at $15,000 for a total of $35,000. It gives you sort of a sense of what we're working with. At this point, for the sake of the neighborhood integrity and quality of that neighborhood, I propose that we go ahead with a demolition on these 2 addresses, 4246 and 4248. I think the neighborhood benefits by it. I think that speculators who come into the city and buy a pool of mortgages are just that, speculators who are looking to make a quick flip to make some money. This one's a hard one to make money on. That's unfortunate, but that's the price of business sometimes. Please listen to the residents for this one. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilman.
I would ask that the board entertain a motion to order demolition and bid the property within 30 days.
Yeah. I'd like to recommend that we order the demolition process.
And I'll concur.
I'd like to recommend that we go back to the original start of this.
I'll concur. So now we're down at 250 Hanover.
On 250 Hanover, Mr. President, we had ordered a demolition order, which was entered and recorded on April the 29th, 2015. However, between April the 29th, 2015 and now, the property was sold on tax sale. And so the purpose of today's hearing was to give the tax sale purchaser an opportunity to come in. Nobody appears, and I would ask that the city just proceed forward with the demolition.
I'd like to recommend that we proceed with the demolition.
I'll concur.
On 60, it's 6333 New Jersey. I had the address wrong on the agenda. I hope it's correct. Attorney David Mears has worked out an agreement. It's 6333 New Jersey. Attorney David Mears has worked out an agreement to rehabilitate, which I have submitted a faxed copy for signature. We can get to that when we get to it on the agenda. But there is a rehab agreement, and so I would just ask that we please continue this for status till November the 12th, 2015.
I'd like to recommend that we move this to November 12th.
And I'll concur.
1014 Reese, we had previously had this was under demolition order. They appealed during the period of time because the appeal took so long, the order expired. We entered a new order to demolish. We just set this for hearing today to notify anybody who's interested in the property that we're going to knock it down. We already have a bid, so we're just going to proceed forward with the demolition as no one appears.
I have an interest in this property.
Okay, would you come up, please? I'm sorry, what was your name, sir?
Patrick Dempsey.
Okay.
I
And what,
just bought this property at tax sale, the online tax sale, just 2 days ago.
okay, which means that you won't get a tax deed for about 18 months.
Right.
The city's not going to wait 18 months. The property's in too bad a shape. Have you looked at what the condition of the property is?
Yes. Is this, why does it say Whiting on a lot of the?
It's just because it's up in the north part of town.
Everything north, yeah, everything north of 129th Street is either Hammond or Whiting, but it's all the Whiting post office. So probably the correct address is Hammond, Indiana, Whiting, PO.
Yeah, you just got the tax certificate. It was just for tax sale last week, right?
Right.
Which means you
This
can't,
week.
you won't get the tax deed for another 18 months. The city's not going to wait that long. We're going to knock it down. So if you want to go ahead and let them know we're knocking it down, you can maybe try to get your money back, or you can just own the lot. It'll be a
Do you
vacant lot.
have any information that that's ever happened before where they would give a person their money back?
Well, there is, if you run the title report on it, there is recorded demolition order on the property. If you had looked at it before you bought it, it would have shown that. So you can contact Jim Weezer over at the county and let him know that the city's proceeding forward with the demolition that's recorded on the property. And there won't, unless you want the vacant lot, maybe.
No, I really don't. What's his name? Could you-
Jim Weezer, he's the attorney of the county, Lake County.
Those are very small lots.
Yeah, I know they're practically the houses on top, but this is actually, the demolition order has been recorded on the property not once but twice, so anybody who is purchasing would have notice. And I would ask that we just move forward with it. In fact, as soon as JM can get out there, go for it. The next one is 837 Ames. This was a very
We
strange,
didn't take action on it,
oh, I
I'd
apologize.
like to
I'm
recommend that
sorry.
we go ahead and proceed with the demo.
and I'll concur.
I apologize.
37A.
837 Ames was a weird cinder block Cold War style bunker on an overgrown lot. However, the owner has passed away. His heirs have self-demolished the property, and I would just ask that you please remove this from the demolition list. There's no more problems.
So move.
Second.
The next property is 4617 Ash. Is anybody here for this? Okay, would you come up here, please? Actually, it's 4617 and 4619. They're owned by the same owner. Are you Mr. Bay? Yes, I am. Okay. So it's a boarded-up two-story multifamily house with broken windows, missing siding, failing porch and roof, and the other one is the front house is boarded-up windows, siding missing, roof failing, and the porch failing. What are your plans for the property?
I would, I want to get it rehabbed. We had, my husband had a personal injury, so he was unable to do anything for the past year. He has been cleared. I understand when the last tenant moved out, there was a few issues. I completely acknowledge everything that you're saying, and.
Is this what the property looks like?
Yes.
I mean, this is more than just the tenants leaving the
No,
water.
that was in the front house. I understand what you're saying, and I do want to work and see if you can help recommend a contractor or something that can help make all the necessary repairs, as I do want to.
How long have
do
you owned the
it.
property?
About 10 years.
Okay, and, I mean, when's the last time you were over there?
It's been a little while. I did just sign a contract with the dumpster. They should be coming either yesterday or today to help with the cleanup and with the overgrowth. They should be coming this week to take care of that, as well as get, my first priority would be the windows and the roof, to get everything secured, and then do whatever is necessary to get it back into a viable property.
This one's not as bad. Is this the front house?
Correct.
I mean, the rear house really,
The rear house is definitely the problem, I acknowledge that.
okay, I mean,
The front house actually really isn't too bad.
no, it's not too bad, but I think the rear one is beyond home.
Well, it just needs a new roof and some siding and such. That's why I want to work with the contractor and try and get that to usable again.
Mr. President, I'd like to show you the pictures. The first one I'm showing you is 4617 Ash. This is the rear property. You can see it's been neglected a little bit longer than it's intended to be now.
Both of them are boarded up.
So you're not renting them out at this time?
No.
Ma'am, if you live in Lansing, so if this house was next to you in Lansing, how would you feel about it?
I probably wouldn't be too happy.
Okay. So you understand that why the city is,
I do completely understand, and this was definitely a wake-up call that I needed, and I will definitely make a priority of getting this taken care of. Like I said, I don't know if the building department has a list of...
They have a list of contractors that you can.
Okay, that's downstairs, is that correct?
Mr. President, I would ask that you enter the order to demolish, in case Mr. Bay, once she gets in there, determines it's gonna cost far more than it's worth to repair these two properties, which I'm sure it's going to be for the back property, maybe not the front property. I would ask you to enter the order to demolish, but stay, the demolition of the property until our November 12th hearing.
That's my recommendation.
And that gives you time to get an inspection
Okay.
on both properties and enter a written contract with the city to rehabilitate.
Okay,
And if you decide it's not worth it, just let us know and we'll just knock it down.
okay, now how do I do that with the building department?
Yep, go down to the building department and say you want to get paid for an inspection for these two properties. Okay?
Mr. Day, are you maintaining the property?
No.
Are you cutting grass?
Yes, well, the grass I did have someone who was maintaining the lawn, and he apparently went out of business. I have hired a new contractor, and I have hired Waste Management to bring in dumpster and whatnot. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is 232 Brunswick. Is anybody here for 232 Brunswick? All right, Mr. President, 232 Brunswick is a frame house. It's vacant on an overgrown lot. The roof is bad and the garage is open to the elements. I would ask that since no one appears, we enter an order to demolish.
Okay, make a recommendation to demolish.
And I'll concur.
Okay, 4763 Calumet. Is anybody here for 4763 Calumet? Yes. Okay,
Is this a business or is this?
it's a bar. It's an old,
ATM.
it's an old bar. Well, it looks like from the pictures that it at one time was an old bar. I don't know if it's been used for
We
recently.
burned half of it down about 15 years ago.
It used to be the old Yankee Inn back in the days, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sir. Are you Mr. Diaz?
I am.
Okay, is this the way the property looks?
That is correct.
Okay, what have you done to fix the property?
Well, we've actually already contracted a contractor prior to us getting this notice, actually. So there's actually a permit on it for service to be done. I've also applied for the FAC 8 program, which I was approved for as well.
The what?
The FAC 8 program.
Facade.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It sounds like a French word to me. Yes. And we're actually on the works to that. All I'm asking is 6 more months, and it should be up and ready, basically.
What is it gonna be?
I'm looking to establish a business in the bottom where the old Yankee Inn used to be, a restaurant per se, and then the upstairs is I'm looking to just either make apartments to it. I believe in the back it used to be 2 apartments up there. Perhaps just making it one big studio per se.
All right.
Are there multiple entrances to those apartments upstairs?
There is multiple entrances to the building itself. There's actually 3 entrances. There's 2 in the front and 1 on the side to it.
Are the boarded up doors still boarded up?
Yes, that is correct. Except for the 3 entrances, those aren't boarded up. So there's actually the boarded up entrances. It makes it 5 entrances to it.
Where this is at.
You have the wherewithal to actually do this? Because it looks like it's gonna be pretty expensive.
Yeah, actually, I do have that.
You were approved for the facade program from, what is it?
Did you were approved or did you apply?
I was approved.
You don't.
We're looking about, let's see, $64,500 in cost.
64?
$64,500.
How
So
long have you
I've
owned it?
already given a down payment on that.
How long have you owned the property?
It started in January, I believe it was December or January.
This year?
Yes, sir. So I'm actually on the works of getting that already, and like I said, we did pull a permit on it
Do you
already.
have a contract with somebody to do some of the work?
Yes, it's a home construction.
Your license, your license for commercial.
What's the board's pleasure? Do you wish to enter the order and stay it to give him time to enter a rehab agreement?
That would be my recommendation.
I appreciate
I'll
it.
concur.
Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna enter the order to demolish, just in case you decide to walk off from the project. But we're not gonna take any further action until our status date of November 12th. You'll get notice of that status date. In the meantime, what you need to do is go down to the building department, pay for rehab, pay for a rehab inspection, and then we'll do a written rehab agreement that you'll sign, we'll sign, and then you can make the repairs. And as long as you're making the repairs, we'll just keep continuing it.
And do this, today, is it? This,
Oh, you can do it today. I mean, you're already here, you got a parking spot. You can
Right.
do it.
Excellent. Here, let me get,
And if you do make any progress,
pardon me?
if you do start making progress,
Yes.
keep the building department informed that you're making progress, so they
Right.
don't keep driving by there.
Excellent, thank you.
I'll get those when I'm done.
You're sure?
Yeah,
every
I
day.
knocked them down.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good day.
Okay,
7009 Chestnut, garage only.
this is just a garage. I don't know if anybody's here for the property. Is anybody here? Cabone? All right, this is a property that's the garage. It's open to the elements. There's a tree leaning against it. The roof is failing. The owner has been cited in the city court, but has ignored those citations and taken no action. This is the type of garage that's just gonna fall over if we get a big enough storm. So I would ask that since no one appears, the board enter an order to demolish.
I'd like to recommend that.
I'll concur. 7431 Chestnut.
Okay, McBride, anybody named McBride? Okay. This is a fire-damaged, boarded-up, vacant, single brick family home with a hole in the roof. The gutters have fallen off, and the debris in an old shed in the yard has a bad roof. Are you, Mr. McBride?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you have insurance on this property? Because there was a fire.
Yes, ma'am. There was an arson. It was determined arson the day of the fire. I have had nothing from the investigators at this time. I'm still waiting on the Hammond Police to even initially interview me. In the meantime, the insurance company has required me to furnish all my financials, all my phone records, text messages, everything. I've been working on that nonstop, and I'm presently in the process of completing my property loss claim form. I've hired Porter's Network to go in and assess the damage. I've got estimates for the repairs for the structure, as well as estimates for the replacement or cleaning of all my property in the house.
How long ago was the fire?
7th of April.
April?
Is that what it looks like now?
Yes, pretty much. I know my son's been in there cleaning up and keeping it mowed,
What
but
about
other
that?
than
What
that,
about this weird structure in the rear?
that's a lean-to we were getting ready to tear down before all
It's
this
got a
happened.
hole in the roof?
Yeah,
No, the roof was solid, but they poked a hole in it. My son and I patched it, and we presently have a tarp over it. It is covered. We're not allowing,
firemen put holes in the roof.
part of my job is to try to preserve what's left.
Well, Chris, what do you,
Well, Mr.
if
President-
you've got porters already hired, I mean,
The problem is, I know it's like with insurance companies. A lot of times, if they can find any way, shape, or form to not pay a claim, they jump on that bandwagon. But if they don't pay for the claim, are you gonna be able to repair this yourself with your own finances?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm an electrician at Ford.
Okay. Well, I would just ask that we do the same what we do with the others, enter an order, but stay it until November, which gives you time to go down to the building department and get an inspection and enter a rehab agreement, because even if the insurance won't cover it, you'll have to fix it.
do you still need a report from the fire department, you said?
I got an initial report from the fire department, but I have never been interviewed by the police department.
Oh, okay.
It was determined the day of the fire that it was arson, but they didn't put a cause number in, they just put an incident number. I had to go down and file for a cause number, and I haven't even been in to see the detective. In the meantime, somebody also burned my son's girlfriend's car the next day. I talked to Munster, the police department. This is a mess. This is if somebody would just find out who did it, it'd be so much better, but I'm struggling here. When I work, I have no time to myself at all. I'm spending all my free time on all this documentation, trying to get this ready. I wanted to start it myself. They're telling me, well, you shouldn't touch it. The insurance could take care of it. Porter, you signed a contract with Porters to have them do the work. You need to leave it alone other than maintaining it.
Okay. I would just ask that the board please enter the order to demolish, just in case the expense winds up being more than the property's worth. But take no action until November the 12th status. You have to go get an inspection and enter in a rehab agreement.
The house is insured for over $100,000.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, but it doesn't mean they're gonna pay, you know.
Yeah. What is this about, an inspection? We're
Yeah,
not-
they're
That's
gonna-
my recommendation.
the building department's gonna tell you what needs to be done to make it fixed up, and then we'll do a written thing, so we all agree what needs to be done to fix it up.
That's what I've got here.
Okay, well, just show that to Kurt when you go down there.
Okay, we move on to 7815 Chestnut.
Is anybody here for this property on Chestnut, 7815?
Anybody here that has an interest in 7815 Chestnut? Doesn't look like it.
Okay, Mr. President, this owner is listed as Bank of America. It's a vacant, single-family frame house, no water, no electric for the last 4 years. The garage is open to the elements, it's missing its siding, and rotting wood and roof is failing. If no one appears, I would ask that you enter your order to demolish.
That's my recommendation.
And I'll concur. 5604 Claude.
Now, Mr. Farkas is here for the lender, and I did speak to him. I don't know if Mr. Owens is here, though.
Somebody else is behind you.
Oh, are you Miss, are you Miss Owens?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what is your plans for the property?
I'm trying to put it up for sale, but the things that they're saying here, the, maintenance of the building, it has new security doors and everything is up.
Do you have any pictures to show? Because the pictures I showed have all the doors leaning against the back of the house.
The back of,
Okay, is this the property?
yes, it is.
Is anybody living there?
Uh-huh.
There. See, all the doors are off and they're leaning against the side of the house.
Oh, those doors are gone, because I put those, I have new doors up. That was in March, right?
Okay, did you pull permits for that work?
No, I just put them all up, just put new doors up.
You did, or you had somebody do it?
We did it ourselves.
All right,
We
well,
have all new doors up, security doors in the front, and the property is very well maintained.
and are these rented now?
Yeah, they only have one empty apartment, they just moved out.
Are you registered? Did you register as
No,
rented?
that's what I haven't been doing.
Oh.
I haven't been paying those, but I will, whatever it costs to get it up to par, pay those fines.
She really needs,
Those
oh,
fees,
no,
sorry.
it's my fault. She needs to go down to the building department because they have no idea that these are registered rental, or they have no idea that they're rentals. They consider it a vacant property.
How could what made them think it was vacant though, because of the bag?
Yeah.
No, that's gone.
Do you live in town?
No, I live in Tinley Park.
Okay, well, see, that's the problem, because you don't live here, and then code enforcement gets phone calls or something about the damage to the doors leaning up against the property. We go out and look at it. Apparently, somebody thought nobody was living there.
Oh,
because of the door.
I can understand
Now,
that.
but if you fix it and nobody's called,
Yeah, those are
We still-
those are people, I had somebody working on the property, and I guess they left them out there, but I have all new doors in the front as well as the back,
Okay.
and security doors as well.
Well, I guess what she's really gonna need is a re-inspection. She's gonna need the inspector. Who was the inspector on this property? I don't know if it was it Ned?
I know you normally be the one that's done it
Mike.
before.
Is Mike here? Where did Mike go? There he is. Do you see Mike, the guy in the blue shirt there? Real nice guy, way back, way back. You need to go talk to Mike after this so he can go back out there and take a look
Yeah,
at it.
because my building it's the best looking on the block,
okay,
and I'm
hopefully it'll stay that way.
Well, let's just set this for status for November the 12th, 2015, and so Mike can have a chance to go back out there and take a look at it.
That's my recommendation.
but this seems to be a bit confusing, making like,
No, we're gonna continue
A minute.
it. Well,
Oh.
because we thought it was vacant.
oh, okay.
So you need to go talk to Mike, show him that it's not vacant, show him that everything is the way it should be, and then we can, on November 12th, we'll decide if we want to dismiss the case or keep
Oh,
moving
okay.
forward. But you gotta talk to him, okay?
Okay, I
Before you
will.
leave.
Thank you.
This is 6014 to 6018 Columbia.
Okay, this is the old Reyes Auto, the repair, right over here by City Hall that way, right over there. Is anybody here? Aranda, Mr. Aranda? Mr. Aranda, do you own the property still?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what are you gonna do with it?
I'm looking to repair it. Yes, I'm working on it right now. Trying to get some lease agreements with some of the contractors, trying to see if what it would cost to repair it.
Are you still doing business out of there?
No.
2 years ago, I did an inspection with Diane Brzezicki on this property. You may remember, the reason this hit the demolition list is because the trusses inside the building are actually leaning nearly a foot to the west, and the front facade is now peeling back also. After that inspection with Diane Brzezicki, they came to us and said if they got a contractor to fix a portion of the building, would they be able to work out of that? Could understand that and agree to that, but no work or no permits were ever pulled. So now, I see vehicles, I've seen the flatbed dropping off a vehicle in the middle of Columbia Avenue. I've seen people walking with groceries. I suspect work is still going on. Nothing's been done with the trusses, at least no permits have been pulled for it. building is in danger of collapsing in itself.
It's
In the
like,
building,
Are those wooden trusses?
Yes.
Yes.
it's like the whole Bolera building, isn't it? The roof,
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of dome.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
is that what it looks like
Yes.
now?
Well, no, yeah.
Well, I mean, no, not the snow,
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I took the signs off already and cleaned off all the way around it.
and the bricks
Elliot,
are,
this is down here.
yeah,
Yeah,
right
it's right
next to
on the
hall.
corner.
It was right next to where Steve Herman's was.
Yeah, I just acquired a property last year.
The problem is, if you remember with the Bolera, one day when we had a heavy storm, the roof just fell in. And that's what might happen here if this hasn't been taken care of the right way.
I'd see a demo inspection and such taken to ensure the safety of that building and community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the front wall is leaning back. And that's probably why the trusses are moved. That's gonna cost a lot of money to fix. I wonder if it's worth it. It doesn't look like the back wall's moved, but, I don't know.
The deflection's not as bad as you get to the west end of it, the back portion of it, but immediately in front, it was severe.
You know, do you see what he's talking about? The front of the building looks kind of
Yes,
like a squish cup.
yes, that's when I originally purchased the property, that was the way it was. Actually, I think, I don't know what the deal was with that property, but somebody bought it off in a tax sale. Wilcar Enterprises bought the property, and then they listed, for sale. I ended up getting the property, so I purchased it last year, back on July.
Right, but
Last
the
year.
roof could collapse, 'cause
And I'm working on,
It's like
I'm
this.
working on getting contractors. I couldn't do nothing because it was the winter. Now, through the summer, I've been trying to get, contractors to give me an estimate how much it's gonna cost to repair all that property, the front and the roof. I actually got right now I talked to Mr. Soto, Construction, and he looking into, what it's gonna take, but they gotta make plans. So when he goes in there, he has plans, he's gonna rebuild everything else.
And that's why I suggest that before demo inspection, that Mr. Cook go out, assess the situation, make sure that we're getting the whole building repaired, not just a portion, not just what Mr. Soto was needs to be repaired, but we do more.
No, I would like to repair the,
Work and such that needs to be done to this also.
I would like to repair the whole building. Put it back in working order. Anything that has to be done to the building.
Okay, well then, like you said, you need to get down in the building department, get a hold of Mr. Cook, and have him come out and do an inspection.
Okay.
Mr. President, my recommendation to the board is we enter the order to demolish but stay it, because this way, if it turns out the estimate for the property might exceed its value, especially with the amount of brickwork involved.
That's my recommendation.
Mr. Arenda, what we're gonna do is we're gonna enter the order to demolish, but we're gonna stay it until November the 12th. That gives Mr. Soto and you and Mr. Cook time to get through and get an inspection done. You have to have an inspection and do a written rehab agreement. Okay?
Yeah, because I already had somebody, 2 or 3 people that coming out with demolition companies looking at the building. They're trying to demolish it already.
Well, they're
I
trying to
mean,
get ahead of the game on the estimate.
well,
Sure.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Get in contact with the building department, okay?
916 Conkey.
Now, Ms. Devine was here. She did speak to me. She had indicated that she believes that the property was sold at tax sale. I don't know if anybody here is... No, not, I know Ms. Devine. Anybody here who's the tax sale purchaser? No, okay. I just wanted to see. She's basically doesn't have the means to go after repairing this and has no objection to the board entering an order to demolish. Is that correct, Ms. Devine? I don't want to misstate your words. So I would just say enter the order, and whoever the tax sale purchaser will get notice of the bid.
That's my recommendation.
And I'll concur.
All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We won't bother you anymore with
Okay,
notices.
thank you.
27 Elizabeth. There's somebody here from 27 Elizabeth.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe Ms. Hart's here. Oh, you don't look like Ms. Hart. I'm sorry. What's your name, sir?
Jared Washington,
Okay, and who are you?
her fiance.
Oh, okay. J-E-R-R?
J-A-R-E-D.
Oh, Jared, okay. Washington. Okay, but do you have an ownership interest in the property?
Yeah, we're together.
Right, but is your name on it?
No,
Okay. Mr. Washington, is that what the property looks like?
no.
What's different?
Side and all that stuff, like it's insulated and windows all the different.
Did you pull permits for that work?
No. We was actually looking into, we moving in there, so I was doing some work myself. It's a stop work order on there right now.
Okay, there's stop work order because there's no permits.
Right.
Okay, what about the roof?
Just, actually tore it off myself.
Okay, and did you have a permit for that, even a homeowner's permit?
No.
Does Ms. Hart own 430 Hyman also?
Yes.
Where's Ms. Hart?
At work.
Okay. Mr. President, this is the problem we have with people 6 days without pulling permits, without any inspections. We don't know if they've been done properly.
We paid for the demo inspection, met with Mr. Cook.
On Highland Street, on this one too?
Yes.
Did you do one for this one? Did you do one for 27 Elizabeth? I know you did one for 430 Highlands, but it's in
The paid for inspection was before last week, as a vacation inspection.
Okay.
Now we'll be done next.
Okay. Do you want to just set it for status in November then? Or,
Yeah.
all right, if Mr. Cook's going to do the inspection, we can set this for continuance for November, if the board approves, November the 12th, 2015.
Okay, so it won't be able to be approved until then.
Well, you've got to have the inspection done, and then we have to do a rehab agreement, but we're not going to take any action on demolition until this date.
So.
In the meantime, keep working on it, but legally.
Okay, you saying that,
Permits and inspections is legally.
so once he do the inspection, then we can.
Do a written rehab agreement, just like you
Right,
did.
right, I know, yeah.
Okay, do you remember what you did
But
on?
do we have to come back here to
On
do
this
the
date?
agreement?
No, just, I mailed it to her. I mailed it to her and then she mailed it back. The rehab agreement.
Right, so if he comes out and do the inspection, says what we have to do.
Right.
And then we can do the agreement before this date.
Yeah, oh yeah, I want it
Okay,
done before that.
okay, okay.
And then if you're working on it, we can pull it off the list.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, good
All
luck.
right, all right.
6342 Euclid.
Owner is listed as McGuire?
Yes, I'm her daughter, and this is her son.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, where is your mom?
She's at home, she's unable to climb stairs. She would need a wheelchair to be here.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, she hasn't been feeling good either.
Okay, well, now we're just here on the garage.
Oh, really?
That's what I have. I have garage
Actually,
only.
Dad wanted to
Okay.
tear that down a long time ago, but the doctors had told him due to him being sick
Yes.
before he passed away, he was not allowed to do anything.
Yeah, garage only.
Garage only.
I mean, the house, okay, Grant, the house does need like a, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have any pictures on the side, but
see-
somebody was building on her house
Right.
illegally.
That's beside the point,
Okay,
right?
so does anybody live here? Look.
Not
she's
really. The
actually living-
garage is meaning, yes, there was a
Yeah.
wire here
Yeah.
Right, the only
that was
thing
holding it up.
The only
The
thing
next
holding
door
the garage-
neighbor unhooked
Are
it
these,
to do
these
some
poles
building.
on the side?
Right, the only thing holding this garage up is the fact that there's a tree here.
Okay,
Right, he
no,
was
it's
gonna
not
tear that down,
touching
but
the
he
tree.
had a chain holding it
It
there.
just looks like it in the
He was
picture.
able to do something, but he
That's the
passed
garage.
away 3 years ago. And all this here is Mr. Hammond's house next door, and he's doing all of this stuff.
Okay, yeah, but look at this. This isn't okay. You know that's
Right,
not okay.
I
You know, he was
understand.
gonna tear all that down anyway, and then the doctors told him he was not
So all we have
allowed.
to do is tear down the garage?
Well, I mean, is anybody living here? 'Cause
My
No,
mother
ma'am,
is
we're gonna
currently
sell the
living with
property.
me.
Okay,
I'm packing her stuff up.
because the property is very, very, very
I don't want your
overgrown.
stuff.
Right,
I mean, it can't continue to look like this.
right.
Somebody-
We'll take our
We've been
lawn,
trying
we'll
and
fix that.
trying, and I've been back and
We'll
forth taking my
fix
son to
that.
school. He's been working, and I had been sick, so I haven't been back.
Mow the lawn, cut down the trees, not a
Yeah, but
problem.
when is all this gonna happen? Because it's gonna get cold soon.
Right, we're,
Well, I'm still
My next
packing
day
up
off.
her stuff.
What is this? Is this the garage or the house?
that's the house.
That's the back of the house.
Okay.
That's when the doctors told my father he could no longer get up on a
Right, right,
ladder.
but I mean,
and-
but somebody else, you can't just leave it.
I can't do
Right.
it, neither can she.
Right,
We
but-
don't have the money to do it.
Okay, well then, I mean, I just have a,
That's the house that is right behind us that we're working on, and that garage needs more every day.
no, what?
Does it?
That's
Yes,
because the
and
guy,
I would-
he's supposed
I-
to be a landscaper. He
Okay,
took
I
the
would not
thing off
agree
of
with you
there.
that someone's living in that house because
That was my mother's house, and who is living with me, I take care of her. Who are you?
Cindy Persick, we're with American Salvage and Deconstruction. We are tearing down the house directly behind.
Right.
We've had
Oh,
neighbors
okay,
complain.
Mr.
We've had
Chuck's
neighbors
house.
complain about that house. There's debris being left behind that house. There's currently a bunch of tires left behind that house.
Oh, I know who's doing that.
The garage
That's the
is going
neighbor
to fall
next
down.
door doing that.
So
Right,
their
we
garage is
agree.
going to
I've been
fall down.
complaining about that for days.
We agree about the house.
Yeah.
That is-
All right, so are you
Yeah.
gonna tear down the garage, or does the city have to do it and then put a lien on the taxes? Because that's what happens. And then if you don't pay that lien.
There's a problem right there.
Well, I guess we'll tear down the garage. We'll tear down the garage.
I don't know how to do it.
Don't worry about it.
You take it.
Can't be that hard.
So it doesn't look like it'll take much for it to actually knock down. You just gotta get
No.
get a dumpster and just probably hit it with a car.
The city won't pick that up?
You gotta get a dumpster, it's too much, they can't pick up that much.
Okay.
And how much is the dumpster?
We'll
I have
figure, we'll have to
all
figure that,
stuff.
okay.
All right, I would like the board to enter the order to demolish, because it does seem to be some confusion about how this is gonna actually.
That's my recommendation.
Okay.
And I'll
And we'll
concur.
tear it down. How long do we have?
Well, 30 days,
Because
because,
my mother won't even allow me to go in there because she says it's too dangerous.
well, it's
And-
dangerous for everybody
And
then.
It
she
is.
said my
I
father should have
agree.
had it done a
Well,
long
with it
time
being
ago.
open to the, with it being open like that too, there's kids in the neighborhood, so I
I
would hate for it to
know,
fall
I
down with
know.
a kid inside there.
I mean, it's not news to us.
Okay.
So if you guys come along and demo, and we're doing it, are you gonna,
Well, it's gonna take us 30 days, so
Right.
we've got 30 days, so get going before the weather turns.
okay,
Because once the weather turns, nobody's gonna be able to do anything. And you gotta get those trees and grass and everything cut down. It looks like it's out in the woods somewhere.
Well, that means mom's
Okay.
gonna try to have to help me clean our house.
Thank you. We're gonna move on to 851 Gosley.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Tim.
Okay, good luck.
851 Gosley.
All right, this is just the garage as well. This is a strange cinder block bunker-looking thing with a falling wall and a failing roof. However, Attorney Weigel has entered his appearance. And
Property owner out there, or?
no, Attorney Weigel has entered his appearance and asked for continuance to October the 15th, which we will grant provided that they have somebody go out there and take a look at the garage.
That's my recommendation to October 15th.
And I'll concur. 1241 Highland?
Now, 1241 Highland's kind of a strange story. Is Mr. Price here, or Ms. Price here? Price? We have already knocked down one building on this lot. There were two houses on the lot, so now this is the remaining building on the lot. Are you Mr. Price? Are you Mr. Price?
Yes,
Okay, the city already knocked down one house on this property? Have we already demolished something on this property earlier?
according, this is the paper I got from the,
Right, Mr. Price, have we already knocked down one house on your
they
property?
knocked down two of them.
Okay, so this one still standing, or is this gone?
But that isn't my property anymore. That was sold on a tax sale, 4/25, 2013.
Do you know who bought it?
Oh, no, they didn't tell me that, but this is what I got from the Crown Point yesterday.
Okay. All right, it should have showed up in the title work, but this house is still standing today?
Yes,
Okay.
that one, the others are down.
And that's the condition, and the other property we've already knocked down?
Yes.
Okay. All right, since you don't own it anymore, then you don't care if we knock this one down too?
No.
All right, thanks.
That's my, so I recommend that we go on ahead with the demolition.
And I'll concur. Next, we move on to 841 Hoffman.
All right, actually, this is good news. 841 Hoffman, 845 Hoffman, they've already been demolished. So we can take it off the list. Somebody knocked it down.
Okay, then we move on to 516 through 18 of Kenwood. It says it's a garage.
Right, this is another garage. The owner is listed as Garcia. The garage is partially collapsed, is leaning to one side. The wood is rotten, and the doors are open to the elements. Is anybody here, Mr. Garcia? Okay.
All that is, fortunately, I am a longtime registered owner, and I maintain the building to the best of my knowledge. I even have pictures of it right now. I do have pictures and all the stuff they're saying that's not true about the roof falling, I got pictures of everything right now.
Wait, Mr. Garcia, is this your garage?
Yes, it's not falling. The roof is fine. There's,
Mr. Garcia? Okay, it looks like somebody stepped on it.
that's where.
I'll
Okay,
show
here's
the-
the picture right here. I got the picture right here.
I'll show the board. Is everybody board?
The roof is fine, the garage is fine, it does have minor work that has to be done.
That looks okay to you?
It's leaning a little bit, it does need some work.
It's 8 feet here and 6 feet.
Yeah, it's leaning a little bit, I know that.
A
Yes, sir.
little?
Yeah.
I think it's leaning more than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's like.
It does have a lean,
It shifted so much towards on this side.
but I got pictures of the roof, there's nothing wrong with the roof. She said, she's saying that the roof is damaged, there's nothing wrong with the roof. I maintain it real good. I got pictures here.
Yeah, let's see yours.
Sure.
This picture show gang graffiti.
Maybe this guy was leaning over. the same picture. It's got more than a little bit.
It looks like you cropped it and not showed that it's as through. If you want somebody to sit down. Somebody hurt.
Tell me if I think it's linear, I'm making the boxes.
Do those doors even work? But you can't replace the doors unless you square the building up.
Okay.
I do wear glasses, so I don't know.
Who took the pictures?
Yeah, our inspector took the picture, my picture.
I got my picture right here.
I mean, sir, this is okay, the roof here, what is this? It looks like part of it's hanging over the side, where the trees are growing.
No, it's not.
Well, what is that? An apron? The roof is wearing an
There's
apron?
nothing wrong with the roof. Here's the picture of the roof. What did you take? Did you take a picture of the roof?
This side here with the rotted wood and the thing.
Maybe
hanging.
it needs some work, but this is the roof here, and I had people come in and check it. There's nothing wrong with the roof. You said that there's something wrong with the roof. Please tell me.
Right there,
okay,
this.
the
What
roof.
is that?
Explain to me what's wrong with the roof.
That's a different side.
Okay,
That's saying like
I'm
looking at the
checking,
front of me and
I'm
something's
checking,
wrong with my
I'm checking the
behind.
maintain, property, and the property's been maintained. I've been registered with.
Sir, do you live there?
Yes, I do.
You live at 516th or 18th Kenwood?
Yes, sir.
What's with this pile of bricks? What's this?
Oh, that's already taken out. There's no bricks there now. If you go take another picture, it's been cleared up.
If that garage falls over, it's gonna be on your neighbor's property, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right, if it falls over, but I'm working on the situation.
Although it's leaning this way, it's actually leaning
It's got
towards the other
a
way.
minor lean on it, sure, it does.
Not a minor lean, that's a major lean.
Okay, I got an
I
estimate
don't
right
think
here.
that- I'll
What,
be honest with you, I don't think that's worth it.
I got the estimate right here.
Engineer.
You wanna see this? I got an estimate on a professional engineer that comes to the property, and they've been doing this for 20 years.
What's the name of the company?
It's right here, I got it right here, all garage services.
Kelly? They don't even have a address. Huh?
Is that a car garage?
Well, it might have been at one time. Now it's one in a little short clown car.
Milan.
They want $3,200.
Well, you could get a new one put up.
Builders, that's good.
Yeah, you have to go to Menards and get one of those kids.
Yeah, if you already got a foundation. you probably
Chris, what's your
close the garage for-
My recommendation is we enter an order to demolish the garage before it falls on somebody.
That's my recommendation.
And I'll concur.
I did give you an estimate, sir, and I got cancer, and I'm trying to fix it, I maintain it. There's nothing wrong with the garage. I could fix it if you give me time to fix it.
We made the recommendation, but nothing's gonna happen for 30 days. So if you got that guy, get a hold of him and tell him to get a hold of building department and get it going.
Okay,
We're not gonna go over there tomorrow and tear it down, because he's busy.
thank you.
1046.
1046 Kenwood.
Is anybody here at the top?
Hi, Patrick Dempsey, I'm Rust Belt LLC. I bought 1046 Kenwood at the tax sale earlier this year. I should have possession of it in the next couple of months. This was the first I heard of any demo order. I'd be perfectly willing to enter into a rehab agreement. I have done one in the past, or a couple in the past. I rehabbed about 4 properties in Hammond that are now all good houses, and there are people living in them.
Now, when is the redemption period end? Has the redemption period already expired? Was it an August 31st redemption period? When did it expire, or is it still coming up?
I think well, I won't have the tax deed until, I mean, it's the spring tax sale, so usually it would be October or November.
Okay, so the redemption period has not ended, so the owner, Mr. Tops, could pay the taxes and
Yes.
take this back over?
Yes.
All right, Mr. President, I would ask, the water has been off on this property for 5 years, it's boarded up. I would just ask that you enter the order to demolish, but stay it, because if this Mr. Tops redeems it, we already know he's not gonna repair it. Because he hasn't done anything for 5 years.
Is that the house on the corner?
It's I've seen worse, this is,
Yeah, I know which one it
So
is.
it appears to be a
Yeah.
two-flat metal stairs.
Yeah.
It is, I've seen worse, it's bad. But the fear is if the owner redeems it, it's supposed to sit for another 5 years.
Okay.
You know, if you put out a
So
fire.
are we staying till?
Yeah, stay.
I'd like to recommend that we do that, but stay until the 12th of
As
November.
soon as you get that tax, you let us know, though, okay?
Yes, thank you.
We'll move on to 927 Logan.
927, Baldwin Green.
Anybody named Baldwin or Green here? The city has been cutting the grass, the water's been off since 2014, the house is boarded up and vacant. It looks like it's fire damaged because there's a hole in the roof and on one side of the building, and the garage is open to the elements. 927 Logan, anybody here? All right, no one appears. I would ask you that you enter the order to demolish.
That's my recommendation.
And I'll concur. 6326 Monroe rear. So there what, two houses on the lot?
Probably. Are you Mr. Wilburn?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, was there a fire?
Yes, it was a fire.
Okay, do you have insurance?
Yeah, I had insurance on the place, and what it did is, they, paid, the mortgage off.
Okay,
And I
so,
decided, I was hoping I would get money throughout the year and get it fixed, but I agree with it.
okay.
Tear it down.
You don't disagree that that's the way it looks?
Yeah, that's the way it looks.
Okay.
It's a pretty solid structure, just
No, I
the
know,
roof.
there's a big hole in it. Now, the fireman did that, right?
Yeah, you already got to get in there for the fire.
Blame it on me.
All I ask of is, can I get till March of next year, and I can get it done myself?
Well, we're gonna go ahead and enter the order and bid it out, but if you get somebody to do it, if you can do it cheaper, you can do it yourself. But we're gonna move forward because this could collapse if we get a big snow like we got last year. When did it burn?
7 years.
7 years ago.
Yeah. They're pretty solid.
I would ask you to just enter the order. It's been 7 years.
I recommend that we go ahead with the demolition.
And I'll concur.
All right, we're gonna bid it out. You'll get a notice of the bid date. If you can get it down sooner than that, then you can go ahead and do it, but otherwise, we're just gonna take it down.
Thank you very much.
923 Morris. Someone here from 923 Morris?
923 Morris. The owner is listed as U.S. Bank. It's a boarded-up frame house, and it has a blue tarp covering the roof. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Okay. No one appears, and I would ask you to enter the demolition.
I'd like to recommend that.
I'll concur. 7340 New Hampshire.
All right, now Mr. Larry Novak is here? Okay, he's the realtor. U.S. Bank is listed as the owner. The water's been off for 5 years. There's animals living in the house, at least there's dead ones. The property's overgrown, there's mold. They are working on trying to do a rehab agreement, but there was an issue with, we had to cut the grass so many times, there were liens on the property. Some of the liens were in county, the board of liens were here. They're attempting to do a rehab agreement. I would ask that you enter the order, but stay it.
That's my recommendation.
And I'll concur. 1535 to 1537 174th Street.
Smithers?
1535, 174th, Smithers.
Right here?
This is a vacant property. The city's been cutting the grass. It's boarded up, and the carport wall is missing. As no one appears, I say we enter the order.
I'd like to recommend that we enter the order.
And I'll concur. 1575 River Drive.
Is anybody here, Mr. Foster? No. 1575 River Drive, Foster. All right, no one appears. This is a vacant property the neighbors are complaining about. It has a blue tarp for a roof. The shed in the rear is partially open to the elements, and the roof is failing.
I'd like to recommend to go ahead with the demo.
And I'll concur. 4723 Sheffield.
Okay, the owner is listed as Frank's. Okay, there was a fire in 2014, and the debris is still in the backyard.
Actually, everything is all cleared up. I have pictures, and I have, want to submit
When did you
building
get,
permit. Oh, it can go over there right now. It's been
No,
all
but
cleaned.
when? Because my pictures were taken, and they still show a bunch of debris in the backyard. There, see?
Oh,
Like
that's
what-
gone.
When did the fire happen?
Last year. Here, I have pictures. These are all the current pictures.
Okay.
I have all the building permits here. I
When
have,
last year did the fire happen? When in 14?
June, I believe it was.
Okay, so for 9 months, you just left all this junk sit there in the yard? Because why?
Well, I was slowly getting it out as I could. I was waiting for the insurance to go through. I was waiting for getting permits and hiring contractors and people of that sort so I could get this property back to livable condition. I have everything right here, all brand new pictures.
All right, are you Mr. Frank?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, is that the only property you own in the city?
Yes, that's correct.
It's a rental, or do you live there?
I'll be living there.
Was it a rental when it caught on fire?
Yes, it was.
We can buy it on tax sale? Or?
Yes, sir.
So you just bought it?
No, I bought it.
Is that what it looked like after the fire?
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, this was in March. If it
Right.
burned in June, I mean, 6 months later, it still has garbage in the yard and everything was still.
Well, I think what happened while that garbage was there was, as the contractors were taking everything down, they were still storing it there, and I'd take it away as things were being taken off.
Is that building worth fixing?
It's not bad. I mean,
Oh, no, here's
I
pictures.
haven't seen the interior, but
I've seen worse.
it's got any holes in the roof?
No,
No, you guys,
Well,
you
that's
get
good.
that.
Appears to be legal to use it.
here's all my permits and everything.
Have you been calling for inspections?
I was told by the people that were doing the work on the property that everything was all squared away with the city, so I don't know anything else beyond that, besides they said that the city was good.
I've never had any notes of permits, but he does have a building permit.
I have them all here, they're all, I can put this into evidence, I mean, there's my bank records, my
Yeah,
permits,
who's your contractor?
Kelly?
Latin American.
Latin American Electric?
Mm-hmm.
They did, they put, they have homes in your contract.
Yeah, I have receipts. If I submit this,
In the block south of Chicago?
yes. Can I submit this to you to review?
No, I can see you've got permits.
Yeah, I have,
I think we should set this one over for status in November, and we can let the inspector, let's see where the inspector was. Jesse, oh, Jesse's fine, who's the Jesse? Okay. Yeah, we need to get the inspector back out there to take a look at it.
yeah, everything's been repaired, actually, and,
Status November 12th, Chris?
Yes, please.
That's my recommendation.
You just gotta get the inspector back out there to take a look, and he might say pull it off the list now.
okay.
Okay?
So, what do I do at this point?
Just need to- who did Jesse call? Okay, you need to call the building department and ask for Rich. And Rich needs to come back out and take a look.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And the final property, 7609 Walnut.
Robert Golding?
Oh, this is also a tax sale purchase property. We're going to continue it. Oh, okay. Here's the thing. This was on the demo list back in 2010. It got removed or expired, and then we put it back on again. Are you Tom White?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my attorney called, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob Golding called us. Okay. Yeah, you're off the hook thing. But we're going to continue this to the November date.
Look.
Part of the problem with this
Dinner
property is
in November.
we've got a roof, windows, siding, and done, interior's completely gutted. It's been like that since 2010. So it's
Got a
been,
new roof?
Those
well,
guys
it was new then,
probably did it. They
back
just
then.
took off.
I don't know if there's any permits for that work or not. Inside is completely gutted, from copper plumbing and everything. Since it's been vacant for this long, it's been tagged, graffiti, the siding is basically just an open palette for people to come and start spraying graffiti on. Nothing's been done with this property for all this time that it's been on the list. Something has to happen.
All right, Mr. White, can you give me your address? If you don't want to say it out loud, will you write it?
Sure, no problem, I can give my address.
Sure.
Phone number. I live in Hammond and Chicago, I'll give my Chicago address.
Just give me any address that'll work.
Let's see, 3758 Palmer, West Palmer, Palmer Street. That's in zip 60647.
Okay. What I want to do is I ask that we continue this to November the 12th, but Mr. White needs to contact the building department, get an inspection, and enter a rehab agreement.
I don't have ownership yet, they defaulted September
The redemption,
3rd.
the redemption date passed.
Redemption, so I'd get a
Okay.
deed, it'd probably be around the first of the year, December, January. I've been checking on it to make sure it's secure, I put up no trespassing signs on it too, so,
Yeah, but just get an inspection and do a rehab, because if they've already passed the redemption date, you're just waiting for the deed at this point.
right, so get an inspection
Yep.
downstairs. Okay.
My recommendation.
Thank
Is
you.
that
Up
it?
in November, what is that?
November 12th, we'll send you, that's why I asked for your address, we'll send you a letter.
Okay.
We move down to item I, notice of violation hearing for property located at 4410 Clark.
This is a two-unit property.
Oh, hold on one second.
You already do that one?
You're fine.
Go ahead.
Just so you're hearing. This is a two-unit property. It has a second floor attic apartment. 1.5-story frame with some cellar bedrooms. Mr. Long, we have discussed the situation, came to the determination that a deed restriction would work best for this property. Him and his significant owner occupy the property. The apartment is not rented. There is no tenants or renting out of any portion of the building, and it's going to remain that way until Mr. Long decides either vacate the property or sell it. So that's why we were asking that a deed restriction get recorded, so that when the new owners come in, they understand that second floor apartment cannot be rented out. It doesn't meet fire separation requirements. There were no building permits pulled to create this space. There's significant evidence to support that whatever permits were pulled in the property for electrical or whatever else, it wouldn't suffice as an additional service. Even according to the Hammond City directories between 1976 through 1980, it shows that it was used and occupied as a single-family home. Mr. Long has even explained about the staircase that was covered up, interior staircase access. There was a permit pulled for a side porch. No inspections were ever performed, and it doesn't meet code today. So all the indicating evidence supports that this apartment was created illegally. It doesn't meet code to be used as a separate dwelling. Mr. Long understands what we're looking to accomplish here, understands that the apartment cannot be rented out, and has agreed to work with that effect. So we're asking that the deed restriction be submitted and signed, recorded on the property for next owners that will have any involvement with this property will know what the city is going to be requiring.
He's agreed to do he's agreed not to occupy the second floor.
Correct, right. Yeah, all we need is the deed restriction signed. We can get that to county and recorded that way. Once the property changes hands, the new owner will be made aware that it'll have to be a single family home.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Take care. I'll get you a copy of the sign.
Next, we move on to notice violation hearing for property located at 2329 Indianapolis Boulevard.
Gabrielle Martinez. Move that one back.
All right, this property contains a basement apartment with ceiling height violations, measures 6 foot 6 inches throughout. At no point does it reach 7 foot. Dwelling unit separation, there's a lack of fire separation between the basement or cellar apartment, first floor. Egress, exits, building permits, zoning requirements. As far as egress is concerned, every single window in this basement apartment, or cellar apartment for that sake, is glass block. There's no way to get out in case of a fire. It's also dangerous for first responders to go in and try to save somebody's life should they go in there. The venting from the ductwork that supplies the first floor apartment is protruding into this apartment ceiling, creates hazards for people walking through. The exits don't meet requirements. The only entry and exit door at this for this unit is less than that 3 feet requirement. So I'm sure at one point in time this was a cellar, and somebody converted it into a basement apartment. Now, I've had one contact with the owner, and also an individual that is friends with the owner, who I coach baseball with. He did explain that the owner is aware of the problems, and he will take the necessary steps to have it removed. Since so, I have not had any contact with the owner. The problem that I run into is also that the utilities here reflect a single-family home already. There's one electrical service, one gas service. Someone decided just to convert this space, and it in no way, shape, or form meets code. So I'm asking that the board affirm the removal, and then I'll set up a re-inspection with the owner to confirm that it has indeed been removed and not occupied.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we affirm the.
And I'll confirm. Next, we move down to 2334 Birch Avenue. You're the property owner?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Chris Barges.
Granted, this property at 2334 Birch Avenue contains a basement apartment, which does not meet minimum code requirements to be used as habitable space. The property was inspected and marked uninhabitable due to the findings during the inspection. This property violates the minimum height requirements, where this basement apartment contains ceiling heights measuring 6 feet 9 inches, and no point does it reach 7 feet. Dwelling unit separation, not appropriate fire separation assembly installed between the first floor and the basement apartment. Minimum area requirement for the dwelling shall have at least one habitable room that shall have not less than 120 square feet. There are basically 3 rooms in this apartment. A bathroom, it's supposed to be used as a bedroom, and then the living and kitchen area are combined. The bedroom is less than the 70-foot minimum requirement to be used as habitable space. So, the minimum area for each room doesn't even meet code to be used as an apartment. Means of egress, the minimum width of a hallway shall not be less than 3 feet. So the small hallway leading to the bathroom was only 20 inches wide, which you're required to have 36 for a hallway length. The bathroom does not have any form of ventilation. It's an entire glass block window with no slats for opening, and there is no ventilation fan installed there. Exits, specifically required, the exit door shall not be less than 3 feet in width and 6 feet, 8 inches in height. The rear exit door of this unit is obstructed by the kitchen cabinets that were installed, so the door is not fully open. Basically, the clearance there was definitely less than the 3 feet in width requirement as indicated on the photos. Building permits, there's no building permits according to our records for the construction of an additional apartment at this property. On the back, I've also included, there's some old assessor documentation. So for 2334 Birch, this document was first started in 1969. So basically, the assessor's office sent an individual out to the property to do an assessment, size, location on lot, get all the details of the property. And it does specify that there were 2 rooms in the basement. Okay, so granted in 1969 there was 2 rooms down. That can mean 2 utility rooms, that can mean 2 storage rooms, 2 rooms in general. It's not state apartment. I also included behind the assessor's page for this address 2 additional addresses in the same area to show you what their wording would have been used should it have been an apartment or habitable space. And that is for 2331 New York Avenue. That is a front and rear property. On the rear property, it clearly states that there's a garage apartment. So should this have been used as an apartment, it would have been stipulated on that assessor report that instead of it being 2 rooms in the basement, it would have been a basement apartment. So just to kind of show a time frame and the wording that they would have used when they had started to go out to assess the property then, to reflect that this was definitely not built as a two-unit property, and we are asking that the board affirm the removal of the basement apartment so that this rental property can go back to a single-family home.
Okay, when I bought the house as a 2-unit. The basement apartment was there when I got it. It has a separate gas and electric meter, and I've had the place for 15 years, and I've never had a problem with it until I evicted a tenant, and then it was inspected, and then I found out, well, this doesn't meet the code yet, but I'm a licensed general contractor in good standing in Hammond. I could drop the ceiling, the floor, and get the 2 inches I need for the ceiling clearance. I can take out a wall in the basement, it's a non-load bearing wall, to open up for the bedroom, and I can put a vent in the bathroom, and I can remove the cabinetry and put new cabinets in and have my door height and width, and I can reframe the hallway so I can get my 36 inches for the bathroom entrance. All I'm asking is if I could keep it as the 2-unit, because I've had it as a 2-unit, I bought it as a 2-unit, it's separated as a 2-unit. I have no idea what the status of the property was before I bought it, but I've had it for 15 years and I've had no problems. I live down there myself. I mean, it's an efficiency apartment, and all I'm asking is if I can have the opportunity to do the repairs and keep it as a 2-flat, because it does have legal separation on the gas and electric. And I can do all the repairs myself and pull all the permits to do the work.
As I explained to Mr. Berkey, we're not accusing him of creating this
I mean,
space.
unfortunately, you bought it not knowing that
Right,
all this work was done with
right,
permits.
right. 90-some years ago, I don't know what they did back in the day.
Buyer beware problem.
The problem that we're gonna have is, the work if he's talking about dropping the floor in the basement. Well, now, if you go any further than it already is, now you're creating area that's below grade. You have 50% or more of the floor space below grade, it's actually considered a cellar. And there's in no way, shape, or form you can have any type of habitable space in a cellar. So dropping the floor would actually put it in worse condition than it would be.
Wooden floor on top of it.
Yeah, it's a wooden floor on top of 1x10s, and I'm talking about 2 inches here. I'm not talking about going to China. This is what our issue is, 2 inches.
The problem is that the property was built as a single-family home, so all the other requirements that would have been required, back in the early 1900s, if you were building a 2-unit property, you would have had to use brick frame construction. This is a balloon frame construction home. You have framing, you have chases through the walls. Fire starts there, it's gonna spread to the first floor immediately, not giving those tenants adequate time to vacate the property. The basement apartment is a fire trap. Sorry. Not more than 4 people could probably fit in the entire apartment at a time.
Well, so I have a landlord permit, and it shows that only 2 people can live in there. And no more than 2 people have ever lived in there since I've had the property.
And there's not even
Right.
a legal bedroom there. The bedroom itself doesn't meet code requirement to be used as habitable space. It doesn't meet the size requirement. The one window in there has a AC unit in it. You know, I don't see how Ms. Marquise can make this a safe unit. It's a basement cellar apartment that was installed illegally, and it doesn't meet code. Regardless of how long that he's had it and occupied it and rented out, well, you know, he was lucky for 15 years. You know, unfortunately, we would get calls when, you know, things come up, and we go do our job to inspect and determine if it's legal. But I know you wouldn't want your guys down there with, you know, an apparatus on their back trying to carry someone out of there, it's not gonna happen. So now instead of one person's life, now we have our first responders' lives in jeopardy, and it's just, I don't see how it can meet code, it's just unsafe. It would be best used as a single-family home, with a large family, renting it out, to take care of the property. And as far as the financials, like you said, we're concerned with somebody's safety. Okay, I understand Ms. Ortiz has had this for 15 years, and bless them that nothing has happened since. But like I said, there's no way, shape, or form that that basement apartment can meet code and be considered safe. It's small, it's compact, and the code requirements are in place for a reason. If it was quote, built using permits, there's no way it'd be in that shape right now. No way it'd be constructed like that. It's a beautiful home, it's a beautiful property. Ms. Ortiz does a great job of maintaining this property and making sure that, you know, haven't had any other issues with it. But this is definitely an apartment that is just not safe.
Is that neighborhood zoned single family, or is it?
Correct. And there was no zoning variance or, you know, no record of any type of, you know, request to change the zoning of that property from, you know, single-family residential use to 2 units.
But almost all the houses around me are apartments. They have apartments or they're rentals, so I don't think that would really be much of an issue.
Along Indianapolis, there are a few, but those are true basements. Those basements sit at grade. None of it is below grade.
Well, sir, unfortunately, like I said before, the problem is that what am I looking for? Modifications? When they were done illegally with no permits pulled. And according to Nick, with the building codes the way they are, we can't allow people to live in the basement if it's under 6'8".
Correct.
7 foot. So, and I don't know, that you say you can make the repairs, I don't know, I mean.
I knock houses down and build houses
I
every.
understand that, you'd have to talk to the building department about that, because I'm not gonna say, go ahead and do it and talk to them later. You could talk to Kurt if you want after we make our ruling, but right now, I'm gonna have to affirm the, removal of the apartment. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I'll concur.
So what are we gonna do about the sticker that's on the window? Because people come by asking me if the property's for sale for back taxes, and I'm just, you know.
Once the work is complete for the removal, which includes the kitchen being removed, water lines and gas lines capped off, and the electrical and gas service reflect a single-family home, that will be removed.
There's nothing prohibiting Chris from applying for proper zoning and building permits to convert the single-family home to a duplex. I don't know whether or not he can, but it's a single-family home. So apply for zoning permit approval, apply for building permits, and if it's possible, it's possible.
Who will I see for that?
see Don and you see me.
Okay, Kurt.
Okay?
That's what we'll do.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we move down to item L, status hearing for property located 701 to 705 Kane.
Mr. President, Gary Matthews was here for this property. The owner is attempting to make the repairs that are required. However, he's having trouble getting these contractors to give him written estimates. And he's just asked for until October the 22nd so that he can keep trying to get the written estimates done and get the work done.
Recommendation is set it for October 22nd.
And I'll concur. Item M, correspondence received from Americal Incorporated requesting multiple street closures for the demolition of the property at 5137 Holman Avenue, submitted for approval. That's the old J.C. Penney building, and you're doing that for?
Good morning. Oh, yeah, redevelopment. And I'm working with the building department as well. It's an ordered demolition. So I figured I should come up with you and discuss a few issues because it is a zero lot line building. And I sent the letter to Mr. Crusoe. Is he still the board president?
Yeah, we looked at the letter. How long are you gonna need Sibley Street closed? Because you're talking a total closure from the alley to Holman.
Yes, and I don't have those specific dates yet because we are using HUD funds to demolish the building, so we have to do certain things ahead of time before we even get to there. But I wanted to present it to the board, the different issues that we have with that property to give you some time to think about it. And then when we get closer, I thought maybe I could work with the engineering department about specific dates and closures or come back to the board because there's no way to do it without closing the street for a certain amount of time.
And you say that you may need a single lane closure on Holman?
I believe so. Only the right side of the northbound when we're demolishing the west wall of the building because we have a sidewalk that's about 10 feet of space and then we have the bridge starting right there. Similar to what we did at Wonder Bread, there was very little space between the building and the northbound lane of Calumet, so we just shut that lane down during the day when we tore that side of the building down. Of course, this building's twice the height, but so that's the reason I came here is to just start. I met with Kurt and Jim, and we discussed these issues early on. And
With Frank from our street lighting?
I did, yes, and I talked with Frank. Actually, I met with Frank. I talked with him, and I met him on site. We will put an allowance in the bid, which was about, I think it was just under $1,800 for Midwestern Electric to come out, remove 2 ornamental streetlights off of Sibley, store them, and then reinstall them after the job is
We're also
done.
gonna have to do a temporary modification of the traffic signal because that's an activated signal. And if you have equipment sitting there on the loop detectors on the closed section of the street, it's gonna keep kicking the signal.
Okay.
So they're gonna have to do something there to maybe disconnect that temporarily inside the cabinet, to have it operate as a 3-leg intersection instead of a 4-leg. But you need to tell them that they're gonna have to do that while this is ongoing. 'Cause
Okay, yeah.
That'll really mess up traffic there.
Yeah, I will get back in contact with Frank and with Midwestern Electric, and we'll increase Ray over there so that we can get increase the allowance for them to modify that as necessary when we do have.
Yeah, that's not gonna be a very large expense. That's when the guy's out there, he'll either make some changes in the settings in the cabinet, or he may have to disconnect a couple of wires.
Yes. So I am meeting with Phil Talon after this meeting here to discuss about the building at 5135, if Raymundo is going to allow demolition of that parcel as well with J.C. Penney. But I'll be back to discuss it with you. I just wanted to bring it to the.
Give us about 7 days notice before your start date.
Absolutely. And we are in the design phase now. We have some bidding dates scheduled, but we will have a better idea. We will have exact project dates probably within the next 30 days. All right?
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Sorry to make you wait so long.
Oh, it was very interesting. I'm on the other end of it after you get the ordered demolitions out there. Christine and the building department contacts us, but
We want 1014 Reedstown.
Okay.
Next is item N, correspondence received from Mariana Rogenkamp requesting a street closure for Holman Avenue from Goslin to Pulaski and Sheffield for a parade for North Lake Patriots. I spoke to her because I was kind of concerned because I thought she's talking about closing Sheffield and Holman at the same time, but she's only going to be on Holman. I talked to traffic and civil defense, and they probably work with her, and the closure is extremely short, and it moves with the parade. And they've actually done this on previous years. So we need a recommendation to approve that parade route.
So moved.
And I'll concur. Disposal authorization,
I'd like to recommend we approve them all.
and I'll concur. Correspondence about rental registration hearings. Look at these.
Right here. When? I'd like to recommend that we schedule these for October 29th.
And I'll concur. Garage sale permits,
I'd like to recommend that we approve them all.
and I'll concur. Correspondence from James Foster.
Mr. President, I'll try not to step on my dress this time. This is a property that's currently on appeal in Judge Hawkins' court. Judge Hawkins has ordered that no further action be taken at the board level until they finish their course. So I'm not exactly sure. Mr. Foster sent a series of correspondences over, but long story short, we don't need to set this for a hearing until after the matter in Judge Hawkins' court's concluded.
Thank you. Any matters from other board members? I have two. We have a notice of bidders for a bid opening on October 15th for Second District Street Lighting Improvement Project. And I don't know what the advertisement dates will be, but our esteemed Board of Works Secretary will take care of that. So I'd like a recommendation to approve the notice of bidders.
That's my recommendation.
And I'll concur. Next, I have a request from NIPSCO. They're going to have to replace a gas service. They're going to be making a cut in Sheffield Avenue, approximately 145 feet south of Chicago Avenue. They're going to do a one-lane lane closure, and they're estimating the work to be done on September 30th. So I'd like to recommend that we approve NIPSCO's digging request.
I'd like to recommend that we approve that.
And Janet Vanez is back there. Welcome to the Board of Works meeting. I couldn't see you. You're way in back hiding. So I'd like to recognize that she's here. Do we have any new business? Old business? Meeting's open to the public. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to?
Department heads.
Oh, department heads. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, that's not.
Yes, they do. Oh, I'm sorry, please.
Thank you.
You really do?
Good morning. I have a garage sale permit request for September 25th for Golden Manor Senior Apartments.
Sure, Jane. Thank you. I'd like to recommend that we approve it.
I'll concur. Department heads.
Yes. Got a letter from Jupiter Aluminum, they're demolishing the building. City ordinances require to demolish property, take out the foundation of the slab. In this case, they don't want to, and I agree with them that they should not have it. But as it's in violation of city ordinance, make sure I've got your approval.
Okay. I'd like to recommend that we approve Mr. Cook's request.
And I'll concur. Is there anyone else in the audience?
There was a request for Fifth District, money for overlays, about $38,000. It was put in there, Linda said it's probably stuck behind something. It was supposed to be on the agenda. She remembers it in there. It was Fifth District,
how much money was it?
$38,000 for overlays.
We have a request for $38,000 for the Fifth District for overlays. So I'd like to make a recommendation that we approve that.
I'll make the
We'll
recommendation.
find it later.
I'll make the recommendation.
And I'll concur. Anyone else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
You have a recommendation, Mr. President.
I'll concur. Adjourn.